Selena picked her new home for no better reason than the dog laid down on the porch. The dog was a middle-aged black lab, though her Labradorness had been diluted by a fence-jumping father of questionable ancestry. Whatever he had been, his genes had helped temper the breed's boundless energy. She still worshipped chasing tennis balls as the highest form of canine endeavor, but wanted a long nap afterward, and ideally a long nap beforehand as well. Selena named her Copper, which Walter said was a stupid name because there was nothing copper-colored about her. Selena felt guilty when he pointed that out, but Copper had already learned her name by that point, so she put a collar on the dog with bright copper tags. Walter rolled his eyes, but Selena was pleased with herself for having set things right again. The dog, it must be said, never seemed to mind either way. Selena had ridden out on the train 2.5 days to get there, and she'd been afraid the whole time that somebody'd tell her she couldn't have a dog on board. She didn't know what she'd do. Fortunately, Copper had excellent travel manners and mostly lay under her seat and let out the long sighs of an old dog at peace with the world. The rocking of the train seemed to agree with her. She squatted obediently at every stop and was extremely pleased to share the sandwiches that Selena passed down to her. At the second-to-last stop, the conductor bent down and scratched Copper behind the ears, and Selena was so relieved that she nearly cried. When they reached the final stop, Copper stood up and stretched. Her muzzle had begun to go white, but her eyes were clear. She glanced around the train platform and then up at Selena, as if expecting orders. Quartz Creek was painted on the platform wall in faded blue. The train platform was cinder block and adobe. It could have been 10 years old or 200. There were no gates or turnstiles, no ticket takers. Also, no taxis. Selena knew that the area was a historic zone, which meant that you couldn't put developments up all over the place and drones were banned, but she hadn't expected a lack of taxis. Or maybe there just weren't enough people around for taxis to make any money, which was a somewhat alarming thought. "I guess we just go?" Selena asked empty air. She wrapped the leash around her right hand and gripped her suitcase handle in her left. The station was nearly deserted. 2 men in faded jeans unloaded several boxes from one of the cars into the back of a battered pickup truck. The conductor went over and had them sign a sheet of paper, then said something that made the others laugh. Selena stole a glance to make sure that they weren't laughing at her. They didn't seem to be. There was a drinking fountain against one wall. The water came out lukewarm and tasting of metal. She filled her water bottle and let Copper drink her fill from the little metal dish in her backpack. There was hardly anything else to the station. 2 small shelters with benches, the drinking fountain, and a list of timetables under glass. The stairs down from the platform ran directly to a rutted dirt road. Selena stared down the road in mild disbelief, then slowly lifted her eyes. The town was visible a long way in the distance. There was a hill behind it, or maybe a mountain. Between town and station stood 2 or 3 miles of desert, full of scrubby little bushes and big gray-green saguaros, and dozens of plants that she didn't know the names of. One long serpentine thing might be ocotillo, but then again, it might not. Whatever it was, it had thorns. So did most of the other plants. The dirt was bone white, and the sky was hard blue. It was only mid-morning, but heat was already making long squiggles in the air.